George M. Little Georgie the Yankee Doodle Kid.
Never heard of him.
Well, good. That's the way we want it. Why? To keep us honest. This play's about time. And George Cohan, he's our hero. We're on his side. So to balance the scales and we tell it with a cast young enough never to have seen him perform, and in some cases,
George who?
never even to have heard of him. Hard to believe, huh? Try this simple test. Ask your kids tonight and see if they know who George M. was. While you're at it, ask them if they knew who John Barrymore is, or the Little Flower, Wendell Willkie, Toots and Casper. Ask them about Lamont Cranston.
Never heard of him.
Surprise? Don't be. There's been one of those floods the earth comes up with here every 20 years or so. The old landmarks have tumbled, and except for the odd footprint, the sand is clear. Look for me, kid, says Georgie. I'm still here. That's what we're going to do for you tonight, Georgie. Look for you. Because this is George Cohan's story. We tell it where he lived it, on a stage, like this one. Not much, is it? Or maybe everything. Depends on how you look at it. End of prologue. We're ready. We hope you're ready. Georgie was never anything and beginning with his first stage in Providence, Rhode Island, July 4th, 1878. Now, the truth is he was born the day before, but it pleased Georgie to give Independence Day as his birthday, so July 4th it is. Heightened reality, they call it. Truth dressed up for the stage. But that's where he lived it, how he lived it, and how we tell it. July 4th, 1878, George Michael Cohan is born.
You kids, stop popping those crackers in this yard. I got a patient in here.
I'm going to tell my mom on you.
All right, Mrs. Cohan, I'm coming. Where is that fool husband of yours?
Down at the theater. You told him she wouldn't deliver until tomorrow.
Well, don't just stand there. Send someone down to get him. One of the bomb throwers. All right, Mrs. Cohan, I'm coming.
Good, you know, that's the time to turn and go. Always leave them laughing, always leave them laughing, always leave them laughing when you say good.
Hey, mister.
Where do you think you're going? Come back here.
Hey, mister, your name Cohan?
Not now, darling. Can't you see I'm in the...
We got a message for you. You got to come home. Your wife or someone is having a baby. And you just...
Nellie! Oh, Wilbur, give her a nickel and I'll settle with you later on.
What about the encore? Oh, kid, I told him to stay off that stage. Can't you leave the curtains up?
Always leave them laughing. Always leave them laughing. Always leave them laughing when you say goodbye.
George Michael Cohan. I like it, Jerry.
Of course, that's only for the birth certificate. Little Georgie, the Yankee Doodle Kid. That's how we'll bill him in the act. Not that he's going into show business unless he wants to. That boy's not setting a foot on this stage till he's 18, 19, or even 21 months. Or as soon as he learns to talk, whichever comes first. Or maybe I could carry him out with me tonight. Look, we might as well teach him to dance while he's learning to walk. It'll save time. Oh my God, look at that, he's dancing. Go on, Georgie, try it again. That's it, good boy. Now move out a little, and this time pick it up after the shuffle, and on the second chorus, try adding in the clips. Absolutely not. The boy's only 10 years old, and I had no intention of allowing him to... All right, long pants for Georgie, but only when he comes on for the encore with Josie. Who do you think made it up? Georgie. Not bad for a 15-year-old kid, is it? Go on, try it with him, Nellie. Now, sure, he hasn't had too much school, but what kid's seen as much of this country as he has? That's an education for you, too, you know. Look at all the towns we've played. Akron, Dayton, Des Moines, Sioux City, Cleveland, Memphis, Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine, Wichita Falls, Council Bluffs, Denver, Phoenix, Cedar Rapids.
My mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you. Okay, let's take those drops out. Freddie, get some lights over here. Archie.
Yeah, kid?
Where are the rest of the boys? I told them to come right up.
Take it easy, kid. They're right behind me.
George, are you sure it wouldn't be better to see him in the dressing room first?
Worst place in the world, Pop. Guy like E.F. Albee comes back to see us. That's a scene. It's got to be staged.
What your father's trying to say, George, is that it might be a good idea to go easy with Mr. Albee.
Mom, Dad, leave Albee to me. He wants this actor. He wouldn't have come all the way to Cedar Rapids to catch it. And if he wants it, he's going to pay for it. Now remember, we give it the Cohan touch. Lights, speed, music.
George, it's Mr. Albee. He's coming.
Oh, you and Mom do your number first, then Josie. Then go for the grand finale, little Georgie himself. Oh, hello, E.F. Love to chat with you, but we're busy now running over some sensational new material I just wrote for the act to use when we play in New York.
Some other time.
Well, no, I'd watch if you insist. As a matter of fact, it might do you some good. The public's getting sick of the same junk you've been feeding them for 20 years. You need something new, kid. And that something happens to be spelled C-O-H-A-N. Well, Pop, you're on.
That good old musical moon
That they sing about in every tune.
never wearing out, printed on the street of a musical play. Honeymoon, honeymoon, even got its honeymoon, a musical moon.
That rhymes with June and spoon and croon. Though the leading lady gets the dough,
Wherefore art thou Romeo?
folks will tell you that it ain't no show
Show till they bring on that musical
moon.
Great, kids, great. Hope you noticed the song, E.F. and the Cohan original. And now, I want you to meet the pride and joy of the family, the most talented little miss in vaudeville, Miss Josie Cohan.
Oh, you wonderful boy, what a wonderful boy you are. You made the world appear to me, near to me, dear to me. Oh, those wonderful eyes thrill me through.
He's moving inside.
It seems to me to be a wonderful world since I met you.
Josie, that was beautiful. And now, kid, I want you to get a load of a song, a step, and a personality that I guarantee will take New York by storm a week after we open. Little Georgie himself. Let's not walk through this one, Archie. Goodbye, my lady love. So long, my turtle dove. Farewell, my honeysuckle. I've gotta go. While I am on my way, I'll phone you every day. I'll tell you how I am if you wanna know.
I'll hear if you're acting gaily.
Don't be leery.
Will I get my letter daily?
Yes, my dearie.
Honey, goodbye.
Baby, don't cry. Honey, do you know I've gotta go? All aboard for Broadway. That's the Yankee land. Just got time to say goodbye, that's all. There, don't you hear the train man calling? All aboard for Broadway. I'll be back again. Hurry, dear, now just one kiss. Just think of all the fun I'll miss if I miss that Broadway train. Hurry, dear, now just one kiss. Just think of all the fun I'll miss if I miss that Broadway train.
I'll take the girl.
What?
The young lady. $60 a week opening in Atlantic City.
Now wait a minute.
That is a nice offer, Mr. Albee, and I'm sure Josie appreciates it.
But this is a 4-act, Mr. Albee.
And a good one. Now, maybe you didn't like everything you saw, but with a few changes, a few cuts.
A few changes. The act's great and you know it. And just because that big
Producer! You gotta forgive the boy, Mr. Albee. He's just so excited about your being there. Why, only this afternoon he said to me, "Gosh, Dad, do you suppose Mr. E.F. Albee, with all his renowned experience and taste, would be willing to help us with the act?" Now, didn't you, son?
Well, I never said
Now, you see? Now, go on, Mr. Albee. We're all ears.
Well, it ain't a bad little act, I guess. Maybe I could use the four of you.
Ha, what did I tell you?
You can open in 2 weeks.
There.
Huh. Oh, I get it. He was only kidding before. You're a great kidder, E.F. Now, what we want is 75 per, and
In Poughkeepsie. And 150 per. 2 weeks guarantee, then if you shape up, Troy.
Wonderful, Mr. Albee, and we accept. Now, when do we start?
Start. Nobody starts in Poughkeepsie, Pop. That's where you finish. So if you want my advice, Mr. Albee.
Sonny, I think you've said just about enough.
Oh, no, I didn't, Mr. Albee. Not near enough. You're going to want this act someday, and I just want you to know that the four Cohans will never play any theater of yours as long as we're in this business. And there's no use pleading. I won't change my mind. Well, imagine us in Poughkeepsie.
It's a lot closer to New York than we are now.
Closer isn't good enough, Pop. We've been on our way to New York for 12 years. I want to get there.
Well, so do I, and your mother. But just because we want a thing doesn't mean we can have it.
Well, why not, Pop? If someone's good enough, then I'm good enough. Why not? I can't lie, Pop. You didn't teach me how. I'm Georgie, and I think I'm great. And if that makes me a fresh punk, okay, I'm a punk. But I'm going up there, Pop, and no Albee or anyone else is going to stop me.
Hey, Tiger.
Not now, Archie. I'm busy.
So are the boys, Georgie, and they want their money. We've rehearsed for nearly 6 hours.
Don't worry, Archie. You'll get your money. I always pay my debts. Dad, can you let me have 20 minutes?
I haven't got that much, George. Nellie?
Just the money for the week's rent, Jerry.
Yeah.
I'll get it, Archie.
Look, Mrs. Cohan, I'm sorry to do this, but we rehearsed nearly 6 hours, and
Georgie, what am I going to do with you? I know you want to get someplace, be somebody, but you're using up so many people along the way.
People aren't what I'm thinking about now, Pop. Well, just let me get where I'm going, and I promise you, we'll have more people around us than we know what to do with.
I hope so, Georgie, I hope so.
You understand, don't you, Josie? It's like I'm running. I'm running, and well, there's this train going by me. And I'm running after it. It's night, and I can see people laughing inside. The light from the windows shines on the brass railings outside the doors. I know if I can just once touch those railings, I'll get on. And for some crazy reason, you'll be there. And Mom and Pop, all of us together, Josie, always.
You'll get on, George. I know you will. But trains start and stop, and that's why we all need people. To be there when it's time to get off. Because nothing is always, George.
I am. And you know why? Because I'm playing it their way from now on. If humble is what they want, humble they're gonna get. 14 karat, solid brass, Rhode Island Irish humble. And don't look for better, because there ain't none. Mom, Dad, it's the new me. That's right, the old loudmouth is no more. So feast your eyes on the new Georgie. Thoughtful, modest, quiet, unassuming, and most of all, considerate of other people at all times. Unless, of course, we happen to run into fatheads like Albee. Well, did you see the way he sat there, Mom? Not a smile in him. But don't you worry, Pop. We'll play New York, and why shouldn't we? We've got everything. Brains, talent, heart. It's the greatest act in the business. And me, little Georgie himself.
You know, I like the new Georgie.
Best thing about him is you don't miss the old one.
Mom, Pop, you're not letting this get you down, are you? Okay, so Albee didn't hire us, and we owe Madame Grimaldi $20 for the rent. Well, a couple of bad breaks like that aren't going to stop us. Pop, you know what I want? I want the four of us to walk out of this theater as if we owned the world. Did I say walk? I meant march. No. Stride. Shoulders back. Head high. Chin up. Follow me.
There he goes on his dancing toes with that famous American stride, full of musical comedy pride. Traffic rolls up when he hits Main Street. That's to live, he's a Broadway kid. Glad to wrap up the town is his plan. With his famous walk, his fancy talk, his happy grin, they're crowding it around him to really crowd him. The Yankee Doodle, musical comedy man.
Well, that's it, Pop. You're doing it now. Hey, Cedar Rapids. Sorry to rush off, but we got places to go. Big time places. That's right, Pop. That's Broadway beckoning right over there.
And right over there's the poorhouse. If I hurry, I can get a corner round.
Still he's a Broadway kid, and to wrap up the town is his plan.
Modest gaze, timid ways, humble eyes.
Another larger gave him, with cheers acclaim him. The Yankee Doodle, Jerry for lady, you know how Madame Cavalli is about serving supper on time.
Yankee Doodle.
You'll have trouble enough explaining about the rent.
Yankee Doodle.
George!
Yankee Doodle. Musical comedy man.
Drop those spoons. You all know what day it is. It's Friday, rent day. Dough first, dinner after. And for what we are about to receive, dear Lord, as symbols of your everlasting bounty and goodness, we, your devoted and loving servants, toiling together in the fields of Christian endeavor, do humbly thank thee. Especially those of us who are paid up, amen. It's your turn to help serve, I believe, Mrs. Red Deer. Now, who doesn't have a napkin? That's right. Mrs. Red Deer, serve the roast.
Roast leg of what?
It's awfully small.
Where's the cat?
Upstairs lying down. She has a little migraine. Now, who didn't get butter? That's right. Mrs. Red Deer, you can serve the alphabet soup.
P-A-Y.
U-P.
Oh, it's my own idea. So much more personal than a summons.
Well, Madame Grimaldi, that certainly was delicious.
Delicious. What did he get that was delicious?
No, sir. We won't get food like that in New York.
Knew where? What'd he say?
New York, I thought you knew. We're going there with the act.
Georgie?
Come now, Mr. Cohen, you can't expect us to swallow that. Everyone knows that Mr. Albee turned you down flat this afternoon.
All arranged. We had to get him to turn down the act because we'd already signed with Hyde and Bain this morning. That's right. We're opening the Adams Street Theater in New York City next Thursday night with a new musical sketch called The 20th Century Kid. Conceived, written, staged, and executed by George M. Cohan.
Well, if your act needs any fleshing out something on the spicy side, I do an exotic Turkish dance, you know. Oh, but don't worry. I cover my secret splendor with fringe.
Number one, it ain't no secret. And number two, there ain't that much fringe in Cedar Rapids.
Well, I had to say something, didn't I? Anyhow, it's all true. Or it's going to be. I'm going upstairs to write that sketch tonight, and don't worry about Hyde and Bain. I'm going to make them an offer they can't refuse. The 4 Cohans for $0. Not 1 red cent, free, the first week. Then if we go over, we talk terms.
One little question, George.
Shoot.
What if the new act flops?
Pop, how can it flop? It's conceived,
Written
staged,
And executed
by George M. Cohan.
I'll take the girl.
Here it is, it's Broadway. What a sight to see. Gonna stay there all your life, so send for kids and cats.
kid?
I have to get married first. And that's up to Ethel.
Yes.
Mom, Pop, Josie, this is Ethel Levy. We're engaged.
Engaged? I ought to explain, Mrs. Cohan. George is engaged. I just haven't said no.
Then you're lost, poor girl. Welcome aboard.
Hey, you're on.
I suppose we ought to be grateful he introduced us now. I'd hate to say hello going down the aisle.
I've only gone out with him once. Nobody's even proposed.
Come in on the top line, will you? I'm gonna let Ethel do the intro. Come on, we're on. Won't be rushed, my dear young lady. This is 1901, the dawn of the 20th century.
I'll never forgive you for this, George Cohan.
Oh, that's right, the age of speed. And as of now, the slow courtship's had a date. Smith's the name, Thomas Edison Smith. And what I've invented is the 60-mile-an-hour romance.
There are organizations to deal with people like you. The police, the law courts, the benevolent protective order of Elks.
Would I care to elucidate? Well, why not? Maestro! The century's new now. I'm singing my love songs in that new ragtime. The minute I meet ya, I'll send for the preacher. Wait for those wedding bells to chime. I'm a Yankee with know-how. Don't wanna go slow now. Can't wait for that moon above, or even a dove. So kiss me and run, kid. It's 1901, kid. And be my 20th century love.
No time to delay now.
It's love in a day now. The wedding made wedding gown we demonstrate. Don't look but you're hooked, kid. Your goose has been cooked, kid. There's wedding bells chiming, don't be late.
Wait!
Go!
No!
I want to be bloomers, to see the bloomers. I need that old bloom. Oh, she's taken my glove. My parasol's missing. My hand someone's kissing. Take back your 20th century love.
Oh, right, Mr. Thomas Edison Smith. I will accept you as a potential suitor, but I must warn you that I'm the sort of girl who wants a boy to meet me properly first. Then go walking, then dancing, then hold my hand and my waist, then kiss me. Pose, march down the aisle, put a ring on my finger, give me a dozen American Beauty roses, and carry me across the threshold.
And I'll do all that. Only put a little 20th century pace in it. Ready? Go! Meet, walk, dance, hand, waist, kiss, propose, rose, aisle, ring, threshold. Modern days, the whole world's racing. Speed is all the rage, all the rage, all the rage as we go tracing. Thomas Edison is the one who's begun accelerating. Now with Mr. Bell, Samuel Morse as well, why keep waiting? Meet, walk, on the Hyde and Bayman vaudeville circuit, I thank you too.
George, what do you mean the last time with Hyde and Bateman? What are you doing?
Moving, kid, up as far as it goes and never coming down.
George, I like vaudeville. It's what I know best. And look how far the acts come. Why must we move anywhere?
Because if you don't move, Ethel, you're slowing down. And that's not for little Georgie. Mr. Bayman!
Wait, George!
Bayman!
Yeah, kid.
Just wanted to say so long, Mr. Bayman. Moving up.
What up? You got 50 weeks a year guaranteed with me.
50 weeks a year, but only 15 minutes a night. And that's just not enough. I want the full time, Mr. Bayman. 8:30 to 11.
George, I'll level with you. 8:30 to 11 is musical comedy, meaning Broadway. And I ain't sure you're ready yet. Fall on that street, kid, and the whole country hears the crash. You won't get a vaudeville booking for 10 years.
Well, who says I'm gonna fall?
Bigger boys than you have, Georgie. Look, why don't you take your time? Get a little more experience. Play another year or two of vaudeville before you risk it. I'm only saying this for your own good, kid.
So long, Mr. Bayman.
Okay, Georgie, have it your own way, but make that goodbye. I don't have any lights burning in the window.
Goodbye, Mr. Bayman.
Hey, kid,
Yeah, Bayman?
one more thought. You kind of got a way about you. You know, rubs people the wrong way. You may not mean any harm by it, but all people ain't gonna like you, Georgie. Like me.
Then I'll do it without you, Mr. Bayman. And the rest of them if I have to.
He didn't mean it the way it sounded.
Well, what do I care how he meant it? He's just one guy. Oh, Ethel, he's right. I'm a big mouth, but I got something inside me. Something this whole country needs. And I'm gonna give it, Ethel. Free. No strings attached. Like me. Kid, they're gonna love me. And if I lose one or two so-called pals along the way, I can afford it.
What if it's more than just one or two, George?
If I can have all that, let it be more. There's a city full of people out there, Ethel. Someone's gonna take it. Why not me?
Georgie.
Why not me? My town, that's Manhattan. Up, down, stone and satin. Noise, boys, all of its glamour can make me frown. Times Square, how I love it. Fresh air, I die of it. Born in PA, still I'm happy to say this is my hometown. Roar, rush, traffic screaming, red lush, bright light gleaming. Crowds round, nothing about it can get me down. Green trees, I don't need 'em. Bird bees, you can feel. Sky may be gray now and then on Broadway, and beside every smile there's a frown. Still it's my home. I went too fast, Pop.
So what if you did, Georgie? Everyone's entitled to a few mistakes, and one bad show's not the end of the world, you know.
Hold it, Pop. Who said anything about it being a bad show? It was just a little ahead of its time, that's all. When I said too fast, I mean the Broadway's still moving too slow. What I've got to do is give this town time to catch up with me. 3 weeks.
George!
All right, a month. And in exactly that time, I open my new musical comedy, Little Johnny Jones. It'll star the 5 of us, but this time, Pop, I'm gonna do what I know best.
Right. Acting, directing, writing, sex, costumes, music. Have you got it figured out how you can show the customers to their seats?
I'm working on it, Pop. I'm working on it. Well, it's a great idea, Pop. I play this American jockey in England who's accused of throwing the big race, only you find out I didn't do it, so... Ethel?
Sorry, George. I was just thinking about what we talked about last week.
Bayman again.
I spoke to him yesterday, George, and he'd be willing to take us back with more money, better billing, and we could do the old act and have more time for
for each other.
Ethel, you don't seem to understand. I said I was through with vaudeville, and I meant it. Okay, they knocked me down this time, but kid, I bounce. We will have time for each other. Go away for a holiday, long as you want, right after the new show opens. Scared you that time, didn't I? Almost made it. Word of warning next time around, save me a seat. Green trees, I don't need 'em. Birds, bees, you can feed 'em. Lights may be gray now and then on Broadway, and beside every smile there's a frown. Still it's my sometime. Ben!
Thank you, Mr. Cohan.
Ben, this is a rehearsal. Get Ethel out here. I want to do push card. Ethel!
And
want Louis for?
Some fathead told him to put the Eiffel Tower right in the middle of the London drop.
That fathead was me.
What color would you like it?
Georgie, are you all right?
No, Pop, I'm not. I want this so much, Pop. And I'm scared.
Oh, thank God, Georgie, thank God. I can quit worrying about you now.
Oh, Pop, wait. One more thing, Pop. You've been in this business 35 years. How do you know
Know what, Georgie?
if it's good? It's not the applause. They're friends out there. They'll cheer no matter what. How do you know if it's really good?
Well, it's hard to explain, Georgie, but there's something that happens. Suddenly the whole stage is brighter. Now, you know those lights are the same lights you set in rehearsal, but they suddenly seem brighter and stronger, and the orchestra's playing louder and faster. And Georgie, the whole stage just shines. Don't worry. You'll know it if it happens. Let's go, son. We're on. Now remember, Jones, watch for the skyrocket. If it goes off, it'll mean I got on board the ship and got the papers from Anstey's cabin that prove you innocent of throwing the derby. So remember, Jones, you stick here on the pier and watch for the skyrocket.
Thanks, pal. Thanks. I'll be watching.
Don't worry, Mr. Jones. We still believe in you.
That means a lot, kid.
Any messages back home, Johnny? Any messages back home, Johnny?
Yeah. One. Say hello to dear old Cohan, if there you chance to be. If you're at the Waldorf, have a smile and charge it up to me. Mention my name any place you go, as round the town you roam. Wish you'd call on my gal. Now remember, old pal, and you get back home. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old-time throng. Give my regards to old Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long.
Bye. You're going to be all right now, Johnny. Just watch for the skyrocket.
Bon voyage, Johnny.
I gotta go too.
Well, Johnny, it looks like we won't be taking this trip together after all.
Well, cheer up. There'll be other trips together. Lots of them. I promise you that, kid. I promise you. Did you ever see two Yankees part upon a foreign shore? When the good ship's just about to start for old New York once more. With tear-dimmed eyes they say goodbye. They're friends without a doubt. Till the man on the pier shouts,
Let 'em clear!
as the ship strikes out.
Give my regards to Broadway.
Remember me to Herald Square!
Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there.
Turned the corner of Broadway and 43rd the other day. Kid yells out, "Hey, Frankie, there goes the man who owns Broadway." So I turned around to see who he meant, and you know what? It was me. And you know what else? He was right. Old Georgie's up there now. Climbed on board, picked a window seat. Now I've got my eye on a private car. And why not? I mean, check the league I'm batting with now. The geezer with the roll of bills is none other than the mayor of this fair city, Norbert T. Hattrey himself. And why is he here? To give a little glitter to my latest enterprise. Gonna be a Broadway producer. Give Ziegfeld and Froman a run for their money. Got Sam H. Harris for a partner, and from now on, Cohan presents Cohan.
Splendid little setup you got here, Mr. Cohan. Now, what I want to know is, when can we expect the first Cohan and Harris production?
Give us a break, Judge. We just got together. As a matter of fact, I thought we should sit out the season, you know.
Oh, and just do the new Faye Templeton show, that's all.
I always understood Miss Templeton was one of the biggest stars on Broadway, Mr. Cohan.
And she'll be twice as big when we're through with her. Right, Sam?
Faye Templeton?
Well, Mr. Cohan, now if Miss Templeton is really doing this
Really
show...
doing it. She's been hounding us all week for the contract. Calls, telegrams. She's got her old lady waiting outside this minute. Haven't got the name of the show yet, but we ought to open by,
last week in December. That's right. The last week in December with the biggest hit of Faye's career.
Sam, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Hey, how'd you like to hear one of the songs I wrote? We're sending over to Fazy today. Get a load of this. Out west I have found, that's where hayseeds abound, and Missouri's the state that designed them. And though this may be, you can take it from me, you don't have to go out west to find them. If you want to find the real hick delegation, the place where the real Rubens dwell, just hop on a train at the Grand Central Station. Get off when they shout, New Rochelle!
Only 45 minutes from Broadway.
What I want to know is who he thinks is me sending my mother for the contract job, Mr. Soul.
You know she was dead.
Well, she's as good as dead. She's in Philadelphia. Rose, will you stop playing that song?
Honey, oh, what a fine one. Calm down, Faye. Cohan's impulsive, but he's got talent, and he can use a new show.
Look, Fred, I managed to scribble a very nicely without Mr. Cohen, so will you please call him and tell the papers that I will not be in the new Cohen show?
Only 49 playing that song.
What a killer face he is. Of course he's doing the show. Had lunch with her only this afternoon. Where's Delmonico?
George, Facy, and the old lady.
Gave her the second number. See if you like it. So long, Mary. Mary, we will miss you so. So long, Mary. How we hate to see you go. And we'll all be longing for you, Mary, while you roll. So long, Mary.
Don't forget to come back home. Mama! Come on, give me a little time here. We're just getting to the good part. Listen up. It's awfully kind of all you boys to see me off today.
Here's the good part. You hear me, Fanny. You give him this note and you tell him to send any more songs.
Stay.
You tell
And there is something there that sounds so fair. It's a grand old name.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A funny story, George. Not the best time to tell it, but it won't take long. It's about this boy and girl who were going away together right after the new show opened. Only trouble was that as soon as the new show opened, there was a new show to open. So one day she just decided to go away together by herself. And funny part was she didn't know how to tell him.
Did she have to tell him? I mean, all right, he's been busy these past few years, but well, that's over now. Well, they could really do it this time. Go away together, just the two of them, for as long as you want. Right after the new show opens.
She had to tell him, George.
Well, then give it the Cohan touch. Speed, lights, music. Play the bad news against a happy scene. Kid, it'll knock 'em dead.
Be New Year!
All our friends, every one of them, they're all our friends. Wonderful friends, dozens and dozens of regular pros. Simply prestigious and follow along. They're all our friends. Have fun, tell them, and they're one of them, every white man. They come in cruise and cruise, invited or not. Up, down, 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 right on the spot. Yes, I worship the rock. Yes, every mother, son of them, every one of them, all our wonderful friends. All our friends, every one of them, they're all our friends. Wonderful friends, dozens and dozens of regular pros. Simply receive us and follow along, because they're all our friends. Have fun, tell them, and the wonderful every one of them. They come in groups and cruise, invited or not. Up, down, 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 right on the spot. I must confess, I worship the Lord. All our wonderful friends.
Here, George. Your folks. Just put away their coats.
Oh, it's about time. Stall them for a minute, will you, Frankie? I want to be reading the telegrams when they come in. Well, don't stop. Just want to read a few wires. Sam's put them in order of importance, so the first one's from... Sam Harris. To the cast and company of 45 Minutes from Broadway, backstage, New Amsterdam Theater, 211 West 42nd Street, New York, New York, the United States of America. Hey, Western Union doesn't charge for the address, do they?
Certainly not.
Well, that explains the message. Congratulations. Here's one for Faye. Welcome at long last, after years of constant and disheartening failure, to the ranks of big Broadway stars like I, Lillian Russell.
Oh, sweet. Don't those big fat girls just have the wildest sense of humor?
This is for me. Dear Mr. Cohan, thank you for this wonderful show and a chance to be part of it. Agnes Nolan. Nolan.
There she is.
Oh, Miss Worcester, Mass. Thanks, kid. Thanks. Here's another one for me. Dear Georgie, it's hard to imagine any new year being happier for you than this last, but if it's possible, we wish it for you. Josie, Mom, and Dad. You know, I've got a score to settle with those three. For years, they've been telling me how we've all got to stick together. And now, with the best show I've ever written offered to them, they refuse to be in it. not right for the parts or some such baloney, but, well, they're not getting away with it. And just to make sure, I've had my lawyer draw up a little paper. I'm serious, Pop. I think you'd better read it.
What is it, Georgie?
Only one way to find out. And I'm warning you, it's airtight.
Ooh, airtight. I, George Michael Cohan, do on this January 1st, 1907, hereby deed to my mother and my sister Josie all title to properties held by me in Glen Cove. George, that's the farm. You just bought it.
It's been 2 weeks there, and that's enough. Birds all over the place. Go on, Pop.
And I also attest that from this day forward, my father, Jeremiah J. Cohan, and I are partners, one half and equal in every theater property I possess or will possess, including all my songs. Oh, I'm sorry, I must need my reading glasses.
Oh, there isn't much more, Pop. Just, with all my gratitude and love, your son and partner, George.
Georgie, son, on behalf of my mother and Josie and my...
Hey, that's mine.
Hey, was yours. Half mine now, and I got it just in time. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
Now,
Your way, George?
my way, Ethel.
Which nobody can deny.
Sam, finish reading these, will you? Got plans to talk over with the new boss.
Sure, Georgie. Here's another one for Faye. Congratulations, getting through another year. Marie Dressler, one for you, Georgie. Dear George, have decided to proceed as planned and don't think a meeting would accomplish anything. Papers en route.
Your lawyer's office should arrive next week. Forgive me, George. Ethel. Well, that's it, George. End of sad scene played against happy scene. Lights fade slowly. It's traditional, dear. Music up. It makes it easier to get off. Girl opens parasol, you see. She always kept it, George. And goes.
Sorry, George. It was with the rest of the wires.
Sorry for what? It saves me having to tell you one at a time, that's all. I'm $50 ahead in phone bills already. Well, now, this is supposed to be a party, isn't it? Well, let's make it look like one. And get that music playing. I spent $200 for that band. I want to hear it.
You'll never get a cab here, George. Let me give you a ride. My car's over on 6th.
Nah, forget it. I'll walk. Do me good to get some air.
Okay, George. Happy New Year, Georgie.
Yeah. Hey, Miss Worcester Mass.
Oh, Mr. Cohan, I didn't see you.
What do you mean by leaving the party early?
I'd hardly call 2 in the morning early. I'm tired. We've got 2 shows tomorrow, so I thought I'd go home.
Which way?
3 blocks uptown.
You got company. Look, Miss Worcester Mass. You're a sensible girl. Tell me something. What's wrong with people?
People.
All of them. You love them. You trust them. You give them everything you've got. And they walk out on you. I don't even know why I'm asking. I've known about people for years. They come, they go. They crowd you when you don't want them, and they're never there when you do.
They must have something to recommend them, Mr. Cohan. not many of us seem to be able to do without them.
Lord, don't give me that Tin Pan Alley malarkey. It's great for second act ballads, but that's it. Oh, kid, when I was 5, they stuck a fiddle in my hand, and I went out there and played. And there was just me and those lights and that stage. And it was enough.
And now?
Well, it's still enough. Look, lights, Broadway. Those lights are always there. You can depend on them.
And if someday you look up and they aren't?
Kid, that day's never gonna come. With what I got in me, that day's never gonna come.
Well, this is it, Mr. Cohan.
Huh?
Home, where I live. Thanks for the company, and I hope you're right about that.
Hey, wait a minute. You can't walk out in an argument like that. I've still got lots to say. How about lunch tomorrow?
It's not a very good idea, Mr. Cohan. I wouldn't want us to get too friendly. I'm people. I might let you down.
I'll take the chance. Pick you up at noon? And that name is?
Miss Worcester, Mass. Good night, Mr. Cohan.
Good night, kid. She thinks you won't last, but I know different. We're a team, you and me. I do my part and you do yours. Hey, lights! You got a whole country full of people looking at me out there, so don't let me down! I'm the kid with all the candy, I'm the Yankee Doodle dandy, I'm glad I am. So's Uncle Sam, I'm a real live Yankee Doodle, made my name in fame and noodle, just like Yankee Doodle did by riding on a pony. I'm the Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the wood of the line. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, she's my Yankee Doodle boy. Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the pony. I am that Yankee Doodle boy.
He's a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real life nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July.
I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart.
I'm Miss Yankee Doodle Joy.
Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride a pony. I am the Yankee Doodle boy.
Yankee Doodle sweetheart, she's a Yankee Doodle joy.
Yankee Doodle went to London just to ride the pony. I am that Yankee Doodle.
He is the Yankee Doodle.
I am that Yankee Doodle. I am that Yankee Doodle. I am that
Why don't you tell us?
We should give you a shower. What about the show? Will you leave it?
I'll have to. I have the feeling that being Mrs. George Cohan is a 24-hour job.
What about the honeymoon?
Florida?
Europe? Niagara?
We'll hit 'em all, and then some.
Right
after the new show opens.
What new show?
Oh, did I forget to tell you? Oh, we go into rehearsal next week. Best thing I ever wrote. Hi. Little Nellie Kelly. It's about this cop with a beautiful daughter and...
It's the same old song they sing.
I love you.
The boys were all wild about Nellie, the daughter of Officer Kelly.
And it's all day long they bring accepted.
Oh, wonderful, great. Well, what did you think I was going to do, forbid it?
Well, there's more, George. Fred's on the road a lot, and naturally Josie will want him to be with him, so...
Wait a minute. What do you mean be with him?
Travel with him, George. Go wherever he goes.
Well, what about the act? The four Cohan?
She's leaving it, George.
I'm sorry, Georgie.
You're sorry? You take 25 years and throw it away and you say you're sorry? Look, Josie, I put my whole life into the act, and you've got no right to walk out on it just like that.
Now, why not, Georgie?
Because I said so, that's all. And if I have to explain that to her or any of you, well, you don't belong in this business.
Oh, that's just about enough. I don't know what I'm wasting my breath for. You're a pig-headed Irishman, and you'll never be anything else.
What did you call me, Mulligan?
A pig-headed Irishman, Harrigan, and a disgrace to the fine name you bear.
Those are fighting words, Mulligan, fighting words. Oh, I'm just as proud of my name, you see, as an emperor's or a king could be. All the ladies and babies are fond of me. I'm fond of them too in return, you see. H-A-R-R-I-G-A-N spells Harrigan. Proud of all the Irish blood that's in me. Devil a man can say a word in me. H-A-R-R-I-G-A-N, you'll see. It's a name that a shame never has been connected with Harrigan.
Mulligan!
That's me. H-A-R-R-I-G-A-N spells Harrigan.
Mulligan!
Proud of all the Irish blood that's in me. Devil a man can say a word again me. H-A-R-R-I-G-A-N, you'll see. 'Tis a name that a shame never has been connected with Harrigan.
Mulligan!
Harrigan.
Mulligan!
Harrigan. Sam? Sam, what's the matter?
It's Jerry, George.
Huh?
He's dead. Agnes just called from the hospital. Nellie's there with her. George, if there's anything I can do.
Johnny, get your gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. Hoist your flag and let her fly, like true heroes do or die. Pack your little kit, show your grit, do your bit. Soldiers from the ranks to the towns and the tanks, make your mother proud of you and your liberty be true. Over there, over there, and the word over there. Fight who?
The producers. Us.
Not guys like you, and you know it. It's the small-time chiselers we're after. The bums who work you 70 hours a week in some filthy rat cage for a big $15. Always with their hands out for a kickback, or no job.
Unions, organizing. That's Pittsburgh, Hank, not Broadway.
But the country's changing, George, and Broadway's got to change with it.
Change Broadway and you'll kill it, Hank. I look around me even now and it's not the same. You're talking about actors walking off the stage. When I was coming up, you couldn't drag us off. We ate, breathed, and lived this business. I'd come back from the last show at night and flop into bed, and you know how long I'd stay there? 10 minutes. Then I'd be up scribbling new scenes, and pretty soon Josie'd sneak into my room, and we'd work on routines, and we wouldn't get to sleep till dawn. So much of it's gone already. Josie, Dad, the 4 Cohans. Broadway's the only thing left of the old days. And if you want to change that, you can change it without me.
Easy, George. We don't have to make a decision right now.
Well, now's as good a time as any. Radicals, Bolsheviks. That's not my Broadway, Sam, and I don't want any part of it.
They're not radicals and Bolsheviks, and you know it, George. Sam's right. Wait a bit. Stay on the sidelines.
Agnes, I'm Georgie. What do I know about sidelines? Okay, Hank, that's it. You got a fight on your hands from me. And I promise you that if it's your Broadway that wins, it'll be a Broadway without Cohan.
George!
Kid, I don't intend to lose. I've been giving this street what it wants for a long time now, and it's not going to like doing without me. I'm not just on that train, Agnes. I own it. I am the man who owns Broadway. That's what the daily papers say. The girls are drawn away. They'll never matinee. They come to see the play and not the play they say.
Here goes the guy who owns Broadway. What do you mean, who? Jolson. Hey, Al! Ladies in on Broadway, 1922, St. John Pollock, Kentucky, Field, Penny Rice, the other train.
Serious, Mr. Tracy, I want you to know I love you.
So I said to her, hey, Miss Garbo. Then she turned around. I got her picture. I went to sleep.
Opening night, Red Hot and Blue, William Gaston, Jimmy Durante, Ethel. Hurry up, you idiot, or we'll miss Jack Benny.
Where did Phil go, Martha? I want to hear Bob home.
Turned the corner of 43rd and Broadway the other day. Guy yells out,
Hey, Frankie! There goes. What's his name?
there goes what's his name.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late, dear. 1,000 phone calls and I couldn't get a cab and...
That's all right. Just prowling around the old town, seeing how things have changed. Did you see what they're up to on 42nd? Turning the new Amsterdam into a movie house. And I hear the Selwyn and the Lyric are going the same route. I tell you, it's enough to...
Now, dear, don't get upset. I've planned a nice quiet lunch just for the 2 of us.
Hey, and that's another thing, Worcester Mass. What's the big idea of inviting the old man out to lunch? I'm not saying I don't like it, but it's a very suspicious invitation, and I'm warning you, Nolan, if it's one of your Irish tricks,
I don't know what you're talking about, dear. It was just such a lovely day, warmest February 1st since 1893, according to the sun, and I thought it would be nice to take a nice little walk and have a little lunch. Also, dear, this came. It's from Sam Harris.
Fourth class mail, 3 cents postage due.
First class, special delivery.
You want something. If you want my advice, you'll throw it away without opening.
Don't be silly, dear. It might be important. Sam wouldn't have sent anything special delivery unless it's a script.
that he wants me to doctor. Well, tell him no thanks.
He wants you to be in.
You mean be in somebody else's show?
It's called I'd Rather Be Right, and it's a new musical.
Sing somebody else's songs?
He says the part's perfect
Well, I
for
don't
you.
care.
You've
You
been
might be playing the
President of the United States.
Look, Agnes, I am very happy the way I am. These have been wonderful years. Tell him no. Going to walk, let's walk.
Yes, dear.
I'm in retirement and I like it.
Yes, dear.
N-O.
All right, dear. I should have thrown it away without opening it, as you suggested. I'll just put it in the trash can right now.
Warmest February 1st since 1893, huh? I want to read about that. I think I noticed a copy of The Sun in that basket.
I thought you might, dear.
I thought you might, dear. And I might just as well let you know about a new policy in this family, kid. I examine all trash baskets here and at home to find out if something valuable has been thrown out by mistake. And if by chance I do find something valuable, you can just tell your pal, Mr. Sam First Class Special Delivery Harris, that my terms will not only be high, but astronomical. And I'm only considering it in the first place because if I don't get back on stage, I'll go nuts. Agnes, don't ever let me retire again. I mean, the working conditions are brutal. What retired people need is a union. I'd rather be right than influential. I'd rather be right than wealthy and wise. I don't come through, kid, where brains belong, but pertaining to you, kid, I can't go wrong. I'd rather be
Hold it, kids. George, that's great. The stuff with the cane, but I'm not sure it's what we need in the scene. The president's supposed to be talking to Congress, and I don't think he would.
Well, I know, but it's my entrance. And people expect me to do a few cane bits. Believe me, it'll bring down the house.
I'm sure it will, Georgie, but for the wrong reasons. The mood we want to establish here
I'm
is-
going to give you the mood you want right after I do the cane bits. Well, they want it, kid. I've done that entrance in every show I've ever done.
I see what you mean, Georgie, and it's great. Only trouble is, you're supposed to be worried when you come on. You've got to face Congress, and you... what? All right, Walt. 6 o'clock, kids. That's it for today. Pick up same place tomorrow at 10. Look, Georgie, why don't you go upstairs, cool off, and we'll discuss it. I got a couple of other notes I want to go over with you anyhow.
Oh, kid, I'm always ready to discuss anything. And believe me, I think you've got some great ideas, but if there's one thing I know about, it's my entrance. Hey, thanks, fellas. That was it. Let me get a towel or something. I'll be right down.
Yeah. Walt, did you type up those notes, those Cohan notes?
3 copies, sir. 1 for you, 1 for the office, 1
Look,
for the...
look. I want you to give them to him. I know it sounds like I'm running out, but I just can't get through to the old boy. You can handle it, can't you?
Yes, sir. Here in his dressing room.
Anywhere, I'm not. Simplest way is to plow right through and give it to him straight. He'll give you a few arguments, but just go on.
Right.
And if he asks for me, tell him I had to go over to the costumers. Anything. Look, don't be harsh. Just businesslike. And don't forget to give him that copy of the new lyric. I want it in by tomorrow.
I had it typed up this afternoon, sir. 1 copy for you, 1 copy for the office, 1 copy for the...
Fine. Call me later. Let me know how it goes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, kid, let's get down to it. Hell, I'm not against discussing anything, but if there's one thing I know about it, it's... Where's Danny?
He had to leave, Mr. Cohan. Trouble at the costumers. He asked me to,
Fine, no problem. Get to it tomorrow. I'm a little tired tonight anyway.
He asked me to give you his notes. If you don't mind, sir.
Why should I mind? Hey, Mort, do me a favor, will you? Agnes is waiting for me in the car. Tell her I'll be out in 5 minutes. Okay, kid? What you got?
Well, to begin with, sir, Mr. Wilson feels the Supreme Court scene is running a little long, and he wants to
Okay, I agree. So we cut a few minutes someplace else. What else you got?
According to these notes, sir, he wants it out of that scene.
Kid, look, that's pure gold you're talking about. I've been doing those bits for 40 years, and I know.
Maybe that's just it, sir. Those bits are 40 years old. They don't go with the rest of the material. And if there's anything going on, a sense of cohesiveness to the script.
A sense of what?
Cohesiveness.
I see. Go on, kid.
Well, that's it for that scene, sir. Now, about that first entrance.
Let me guess. No cohesiveness again.
Exactly, sir. You see, the way this play's structured, that scene makes a strong, dramatic statement. And all those extraneous tricks and asides only violate...
Hey, let's drop the 10-buck words and get down to it, kid. I can't stand here all day.
He wants you to cut out the hat and cane, Mr. Cohan.
Now, just a minute.
Do the entrance straight. Don't you see? It's for your own good, Mr. Cohan. He doesn't want you to... Excuse me, sir. Making a fool out of yourself by throwing in a lot of old turns and bits that...
No, I said wait a minute. There's a couple of things you don't seem to understand. My name's Cohan. I've been on stage something like 10,000 times. I've written half 100 shows and put on half 100 more. And if I stick my oar in, it's because this show needs it. As a matter of fact, a good overhauling by me would be the best thing that could happen to this script. What's that?
A new lyric, sir. I was asked to give it to you in place of the one you changed yesterday. The author feels
That lyric's insulting. Al Smith is a friend of mine, and I don't feel like saying those things about him. Well, sure, what I put in may not be smart, but it's worked for years, damn it, and I don't need some punk kid to tell me.
These are the director's notes, Mr. Cohan, not mine. And maybe what's worked for years isn't what he wants in this show. The way you were taught was great for the time that it was, but this is 1937, and things have changed. Excuse me for saying this, sir, but if you don't realize that, maybe you shouldn't have come back. Now, here's the new lyric they want you to learn, and if you could manage it, sir, they'd appreciate it your having it by tomorrow. Look, if you like, I'll stay and I'll go over it with you.
No. No thanks.
And if you don't mind, I'll be running along. It's kind of late, and I have an early call. You sure you don't want me to stay?
You go on, kid. I just want to wait here a minute. That dance routine got me overheated. I don't want to go outside till I cool down.
All right, Mr. Cohan. See you in the morning.
In the morning.
Stick here on the pier and watch for the sky rocket. I know you're innocent, Mr. Jones. I just know it. Goodbye, Johnny. Goodbye.
Any messages back home, Johnny?
Did you ever see two Yankees part upon a foreign shore? When the good ship's just about to start for old New York once more. With tear-dimmed eye they say goodbye, they're friends without a doubt. And then the man on the pier shouts, "Land clear!" as the ship strikes out.
Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. My regards to Broadway.
Are you all right?
Why shouldn't I be all right?
Well, you said you'd be out in 5 minutes. and that was
Look, Miss Worcester, Mass. My name's Cohan. I've written 100 shows and put on 100 more, and if I say 5 minutes, it could be anything up to an hour and a half.
Yes, dear.
And I expect you to wait that full time
Of course, dear.
with words of love and devotion written, conceived, and executed by George M. Cohan.
I will, dear.
Because I need them, Agnes. I need them. New lyric I asked them to write. Pretty good, too. I think I'll use it on my entrance. Right after I do the cane bits.
I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart.
Cut it out, Worcester, Mass.
He's my Yankee Doodle joy.
No, I'm a sucker for that sort of thing.
He's a Yankee Doodle dandy. Come on, George.
Knee doodle do or die. A real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart. Tell him, Agnes.
I'm his Yankee Doodle joy. George,
Oh, my best girl.
George, the stage is
We're going out the front door, Mr. Max. Hell, that's where Broadway is. Come on.
Mother thanks you. My sister thanks you. Next to myself, that goes without saying.
And say that
And split. Leverage singers! And these are our leads who played so wonderfully. Sharon Leslie, Maria Weary, Brian Minyard, Roy John, and Ellie Patterson, and Elena Opie, and Kyle, what's her last name? Turoth, and who's that over there? Catherine Parks, and of course Mr. Charlie Logan. George, yeah.